Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Keys to the Kingdom. I'm Marissa. I hope you guys are having a wonderful week so far and glad you could be here to continue our study in the book of Leviticus. Before we get started, I do want to mention that coming up August 7th and 8th, I did create an event on the Keys to the Kingdom page for August 7th and 8th. I know it's a long shot, but we're planning on having a ladies' summer fellowship here in Dunedin, Florida. I know it might be hard because a lot of you are not local. So to get everybody down here is probably going to be few and far between, but I'll put it in all God's hands, and we've already got a few people coming for the ladies' summer fellowship, August 7th and 8th. Just make sure that when you make your decision to come, that you notify me in Messenger, and that you also respond to the event that's on the Keys to the Kingdom page. This way I can kind of get an idea of who's going to be able to come and who's not going to be able to come. So far, we have about 28 ladies who are interested, but I'm pretty sure not everybody's going to be able to make it. But leading up closer to that time, I mean, we're in June, and this is the beginning of August that we're going to be doing that. So slowly but surely, we'll get an idea of who's going to be able to make it. And if you are able to make it, then that will be wonderful. We'll have a blessed time together, just the ladies. Okay, so we are continuing our book of Leviticus readings today. We're in chapters 6 through 10. And remember, the book of Leviticus is containing the majority of the instructions and laws and ways of Yahuwah. So in this section that we're going to be reading, this is going to have to do with the priestly ministry. So 6 through 10, you're going to kind of see a lot of it does have to do with the priestly ministry. So we're going to go through this. After this video, I'm going to be doing the book of Jasher reading. We're going to pick up where we left off in the book of Jasher. So stay tuned after this, and we will continue our book of Jasher reading in the next video. But I'm going to put the, let's see here. I'm going to put the scriptures up on the screen for everybody so that you can follow along. But we're starting in Leviticus 6. So let's go ahead and get into it. All right, so in chapter 6, verse 1, here in Leviticus, and remember last week we learned about all the different offerings, okay, and what type of offerings certain people were supposed to offer and for what reasons. But it was broken down into different types of offerings and sacrifices. Okay, and now here in chapter 6, 6 through 10, we're going to see more of the priestly duties. So, hey, good morning, Mandy. So glad you can make it, sweetie. All right, so chapter 6, verse 1, and it says, "And Yahuwah spoke unto Moshe, saying, If a soul sin and commit a transgression against Yahuwah, and lie unto his neighbor in that which he delivered him to keep or in fellowship, or in a thing taken away by violence, or has deceived his neighbor, or have found that which was lost and lies concerning it, and swears 7 oaths falsely, in any of all these that a man does, sinning therein, then it shall be, because he has sinned and is guilty, that he shall restore that which he took violently away, or the thing which he has deceitfully gotten, or that which was delivered him to keep, or the lost thing which he found." So basically, if somebody steals something violently, or steals something, or somebody loses something which he found and he lies about it, or all that about which he has sworn 7 oaths falsely, so basically somebody's stealing something or taking something that isn't theirs, and then they're lying about it on top of it, about which he swore 7 oaths falsely, he shall even restore in the principal and shall add the fifth part more thereto, and give it unto him to whom it appertains in the day of his trespass offering. So it's saying that if he steals or takes something that's not theirs, and then lies about it and swears that they didn't do it, and obviously, and then found guilty, he's going to have to restore whatever was stolen or taken, and then shall add a fifth part more unto that. And he shall bring his trespass offering, and then needs to bring a trespass offering, which we read about in the previous chapters, unto Yahuwah, a ram without blemish, out of the flock with your estimation, for a trespass offering unto the priest. Okay? And the priest shall make an atonement for him before Yahuwah, and it shall be forgiven him for anything of all that he has done in trespassing therein. So he's supposed to bring a trespass offering unto Yahuwah, a ram without blemish, offer it to the priest to make atonement, and then he will be forgiven. That section there is kind of tying in to the end part of what we read last week. Okay, so the priests and the offerings. So, and Yahuwah spoke unto Moshe, saying, Command Aaron and his sons, saying, This is the Torah of the ascending smoke offering. It is the ascending smoke offering, because of the burning upon the altar all night unto morning, and the fire of the altar shall be burning in it. So it's saying that this ascending smoke offering burns all night. And the priest shall put on his linen garment, and his linen breeches shall he put upon his flesh, and take up the ashes which the fire has consumed with the ascending smoke offering on the altar, and he shall put them beside the altar. And he shall put off his garments, and put on other garments, and carry forth the ashes without the camp unto a clean place. So he's going to take all of the ashes outside of the camp unto a clean place. And the fire upon the altar shall be burning in it, and it shall not be put out. So it's saying that the fire will burn continuously. And the priest shall burn wood on it every morning, and lay the ascending smoke offering in order upon it, and he shall burn thereon the fat of the peace offering. Okay? And the fire shall ever be burning upon the altar, it shall never go out. So this kindling of the fire was supposed to burn continuously. And this is the Torah of the oblation. Or, as we discussed last week, that word also means sacrifice. This is the Torah of the sacrifice. The sons of Aaron shall offer it before Yahuwah, before the altar. And he shall take of it his handful of the flour of the oblation, and the oil thereof, and all the frankincense which is upon the sacrifice, and shall burn it upon the altar for a sweet savor, even the memorial of it unto Yahuwah. And the remainder thereof shall Aaron and his sons eat, with matzah shall it be eaten. In the holy place, in the court of the tabernacle of the assembly, they shall eat it. So they were to make this matzah, and Aaron and his sons were to eat it in the court of the tabernacle. It shall not be baked with leaven. I have given it unto them for their portion of my offerings made by fire. It is most holy, and it is the sin offering. It is the trespass offering. All the males among the children of Aaron shall eat it. It shall be a statute forever in your generations concerning the offerings of Yahuwah made by fire. Everyone that touches them shall be holy. Okay, because remember, everything surrounding the tabernacle was made holy by what? By the glory of Yahuwah. Yahuwah's glory, which resided in the tabernacle, made everything in the tabernacle and around the tabernacle holy. And Yahuwah spoke unto Moshe, saying, This is the offering of Aaron and his sons, which they shall offer unto Yahuwah in the day when he... Yeah, in the day when he is anointed, the 10th part of an ephah of fine flour for a perpetual sacrifice, half of it in the morning and half thereof at night. So this is the offering of Aaron and his sons, which they're supposed to offer to Yahuwah in the day when he's anointed. So a 10th part of an ephah of fine flour for a perpetual sacrifice, half in the morning and half at night. In a pan it shall be made with oil, and when it is baken you shall bring it in, and the baken pieces of the sacrifice shall you offer for a sweet savor unto Yahuwah. And the priest of his sons that is anointed in his stead shall offer it. It is a statute forever unto Yahuwah. It shall be wholly burnt. For every sacrifice for the priest, excuse me, shall be wholly burnt. It shall not be eaten. So this is saying that that sacrifice for the priest was to be completely burnt up. It was not supposed to be eaten. Okay. For every oblation for the priest shall be wholly burnt, it shall not be eaten. And Yahuwah spoke unto Moshe, saying, Speak unto Aaron and his sons, saying, This is the Torah of the sin offering. In the place where the ascending smoke offering is killed, shall the sin offering be killed before Yahuwah. It is most holy. The priest that offers it for sin shall eat it. So they were allowed to eat the sin offering. In the holy place shall it be eaten, in the court of the tabernacle of the assembly. So they were supposed to eat it in the court of the tabernacle, not anywhere else in the in the camp. Whatsoever shall touch the flesh thereof shall be holy. And when there is sprinkled of the blood thereof upon any garment, you shall wash that whereon it was sprinkled in the holy place. So, let's just back up for a second. So it's saying that they're supposed to eat the sin offering in the court of the tabernacle of the assembly. Whoever shall touch the flesh shall be made holy, and when there is sprinkled of blood thereon upon any garment, so basically if any blood got on any garment, you shall wash it immediately. It was sprinkled, whereon it was sprinkled in the holy place. Okay, but the earthen vessel whereon it is sodden shall be broken, and if it be sodden in a brassen pot, it shall be both scourged and rinsed in water. So these are basically instructions on cleaning up blood. It's important that the blood is cleaned up properly. These are sanitary instructions for the tabernacle. So all the males among the priests shall eat thereof. It is most holy. And no sin offering whereof any of the blood is brought into the tabernacle of the assembly to reconcile with all the holy place shall be eaten. It shall be burnt in the fire. So you were allowed to eat the sin offering, but no sin offering where any of the blood was brought into the tabernacle of the assembly to reconcile with all the holy place shall be eaten, because it shall all be burnt up. Again, this has to do with sanitary protocols, because you're dealing with a lot of animal blood. So there's a lot of cleaning instructions, obviously, so there's no bacteria and viruses or anything that's being left in an unsanitary manner so that nobody gets sick, I'm sure. Okay, let's see. Chapter 7. Let's turn to chapter 7 here. Likewise, this is the Torah of the trespass offering. It is most holy. In the place where they kill the ascending smoke offering. Hold on one second here. Sorry, guys. In the place where they kill the ascending smoke offering, they shall kill the trespass offering, and the blood thereof shall be sprinkled round about upon the altar. And he shall offer of it all the fat thereof, the rump and the fat that covers the inwards, and the 2 kidneys and the fat that is on them, which is by the flanks and the caul, that which is above the liver with the kidneys, and he shall take away. And the priest shall burn them upon the altar for an offering made by fire unto Yahuwah. It is a trespass offering. Every male among the priests shall eat thereof. It shall be eaten in the holy place. It is most holy. As the sin offering is, so is the trespass offering. There is one Torah for them. The priest that makes atonement therewith shall have it. And the priest that offers any man's ascending smoke offering, even the priest shall have to himself the skin of the ascending smoke offering which he has offered. And all the sacrifice that is baked in the oven, and all that is dressed in the frying pan, and in the pan, shall be the priest's that offers it. And every sacrifice mingled with oil and dry shall all the sons of Aaron have, one as much as another. And this is the Torah of the sacrifice of peace offerings, which he shall offer unto Yahuwah. If he offer it for a thanksgiving, then he shall offer with the sacrifice of thanksgiving matzah cakes mixed with oil, and matzah wafers anointed with oil, and cakes mingled with oil of fine flour fried. Besides the cakes, he shall offer for his offering chametz with the sacrifice of thanksgiving and his peace offering. And of it he shall offer one out of the whole oblation for a heave offering unto Yahuwah. And it shall be the priest's that sprinkles the blood of the peace offering. And the flesh of the sacrifice of his peace offering for thanksgiving shall be eaten in the same day that it is offered, and he shall not leave any of it until morning. But if the sacrifice of his offering be a vow, or a voluntary offering, it shall be eaten in the same day that he offers his sacrifice, and on the morrow also the remainder of it shall be eaten. So these are instructions on which offerings the priests were allowed to eat, because remember, the priests, this was their job. So their portion in the land was basically Yahuwah and the tabernacle and the offerings that were made at the tabernacle. So remember, they don't have any land. They didn't really have so this was their job, and so this is how they were going to be eating. If any of the flesh of the sacrifice of his peace offering be eaten at all in the 3rd day, it shall not be accepted, neither shall it be imputed unto him that offers it. It shall be an abomination, and the soul that eats of it shall bear its iniquity. So this is saying you need to eat it right away. You're not going to leave any of it. Again, this has to do with like food, and you don't want to eat it after so many days. It might make you sick, type of thing. They had different storage property, means of storing things back then. You pretty much had to eat things then and there. There was no refrigerators, And so when he's saying that it's an abomination is not just the act of you eating it on the 3rd day. The abomination is the fact that you're eating something that is probably going to do something to your body that's unclean. Okay. Good morning, Crystal. So glad you could make it, sweetie. So just keep that in mind when we're reading these pages. A lot of it has to do with sanitation. A lot of it has to do with, just not eating something left over too long, because it could make you sick. And then it would make you unclean, and you would not be fit to be in the presence, serving in the tabernacle, in the presence of Yahuwah. So, and the flesh that touches any unclean thing shall not be eaten. It shall be burnt with fire, and as for the flesh, all that can be clean shall eat thereof. But the soul that eats of the flesh of the sacrifice of peace offering that pertain unto Yahuwah, having his uncleanness upon him, even that soul shall be cut off from his people. Moreover, the soul that shall touch any unclean thing, as the uncleanness of man, or any unclean beast, or an abominable unclean thing, and eat of the flesh of the sacrifice of peace offering, which pertain unto Yahuwah, even that soul shall be cut off from his people. And Yahuwah spoke unto Moshe, saying, Speak unto the children of Yasharel, saying, You shall eat no manner of fat of ox, or of sheep, or of goat. So he's telling them, don't eat the fat. And the fat of the beast that dies of itself, and the fat of that which is torn with beasts, may be used in any other use, but ye shall not in no wise eat of it. Okay, so in other words, you don't eat the fat. For whoever eats of the fat of the beast, of which men offer an offering by fire unto Yahuwah, even the soul that eats it shall be cut off from his people. Moreover, ye shall eat no manner of blood, whether it be of fowl or of beast or any of your dwellings. Whoever soul it be that eats any manner of blood, even that soul shall be cut off from his people. And Yahuwah spoke unto Moshe, saying, Speak unto the children of Yasharel, saying, He that offers the sacrifice of his peace offering unto Yahuwah shall bring his sacrifice unto Yahuwah of the sacrifice of his peace offerings. His own hands shall bring the offering of Yahuwah made by fire, the fat with the breast it shall he bring, that the breast may be waved for a wave offering before Yahuwah. And the priest shall burn the fat upon the altar, but the breast shall be Aaron's and his sons'. And the right shoulder shall he give unto the priest for a heap offering of the sacrifice of your peace offerings. He among the sons of Aaron that offers the offering of peace offerings, offers the blood of the peace offerings, and the fat shall have the right shoulder for his part. So he's divvying up the meat that is going to be given to Aaron and his sons. Because, like I said, this was going to be how the priests were going to, this is how they were going to be sustained as far as their food, was through the offerings and the sacrifices. For the wave breast and the head and the heave shoulder have I taken of the children of Yasharel from off the sacrifices of their peace offerings, and have given unto Aaron the priest and unto his sons by a statute forever from among the children of Yasharel. So, it's basically like he and his sons were, cooking up some meat, and they were supposed to get, like some good portions of the meat that was offered. This is the portion of the anointing of Aaron and the anointing of his sons out of the offerings of Yahuwah made by fire in the day when he presented them to minister unto Yahuwah in the priest's office, which Yahuwah commanded to be given them of the children of Yasharel in the day he anointed them by a statute forever throughout their generations. This is the Torah of the ascending smoke offering, of the oblation, and of the sin offering, and of the trespass offering, and of the consecrations, and of the sacrifice of peace offerings, which Yahuwah commanded Moshe on Mount Sinai in the day that he commanded the children of Yasharel to offer their oblations unto Yahuwah in the wilderness of Sinai. So these were all the instructions of all the sacrifices, and which parts Aaron and his sons were allowed to eat, where they were to eat it, how they were to clean up, those sorts of things. Okay, let's move on to chapter 8. Okay, consecration of Aaron and his sons. And Yahuwah spoke unto Moshe, saying, Take Aaron and his sons with him, the garments, and the anointing oil, and a bullock for the sin offering, and 2 rams, and a basket of matzah. And gather all the assembly together unto the door of the tabernacle of the assembly. So all of the assembly is he's speaking of Israel. All the people of Israel. And Moshe did as Yahuwah commanded him, and the assembly was gathered together unto the door of the tabernacle of the assembly. And Moshe said unto the assembly, This is the thing which Yahuwah commanded to be done. And Moshe brought Aaron and his sons and washed them with water. Actually, you know what? Let's back up here for a second. When this says, hold on one second. Okay, so take Aaron and his sons with him, and gather all the assembly together unto the door. I think last week we were discussing an offering, because I don't want to misquote this here, but I remember stating us discussing that one of the sin offerings had to do with the assembly. And we were discussing whether that was Israel, or was that just the entirety of all of the priests, like everyone involved with the priestly line, like all of the Levites. But other times, like an assembly is just a gathering of the people of Israel. So right here, I'm not really sure. We might have to search that out, if this assembly, because an assembly is just a gathering of people, but this may just pertain to, just like it says here, Aaron and his sons. I think this is just the assembly of all of the priests and the Cohens. I don't think this involved the assembly of the children of Israel. So gather all the assembly together unto the door of the tabernacle of the assembly. And Moshe did as Yahuwah commanded him, and the assembly was gathered together unto the door of the tabernacle of the assembly. And Moshe said unto the assembly, This is the thing which Yahuwah commanded to be done. And Moshe brought Aaron and his sons, and washed them with water. And he put upon him the coat, and girded him with the belt, and clothed him with the robe, and put on the ephod, and girded him with the belt of the ephod, and bound unto him therewith. And he put the breastplate upon him. Also he put on the breastplate the Urim and the Tumim, and he put the turban upon his head, and also upon the turban, even upon his forefront, did he put the golden plate, the holy crown, as Yahuwah commanded Moshe. And Moshe took the anointing oil and anointed the tabernacle and all that was therein, and sanctified them. And he sprinkled thereof upon the altar 7 times, and anointed the altar and all his vessels with the laver and his foot, to sanctify them. And he poured of the anointing oil upon Aaron's head, and anointed him to sanctify him. And Moshe brought, so now that I'm reading this, it would make sense that the whole assembly of Israel would be present to be seeing this consecration of Aaron and his sons, basically like a like a ceremony. Okay, like an officiating ceremony, officially making Aaron and his sons, the priests and Levites, and putting on all of their dressings before they step into the office of priest. So it would make sense that all of Israel would be there. So he sprinkled thereof unto the altar 7 times, and anointed the altar and all of his vessels, both the laver and his foot, to sanctify it. And he poured of the anointing oil upon Aaron's head, and anointed him to sanctify him. And Moshe brought Aaron's sons, and put coats on them, and girded them with belts, and put bonnets upon them, as Yahuwah commanded Moshe. And he brought the bullock for the sin offering, and Aaron and his sons laid their hands upon the head of the bullock for the sin offering. And he slew it, and Moshe took the blood, and put it upon the horns of the altar round about with his finger, and purified the altar, and poured the blood at the bottom of the altar, and sanctified it, to make reconciliation upon it. And he took all the fat that was upon the inwards, and the caul above the liver, and the 2 kidneys and their fat, and Moshe burned it up upon the altar. Okay, so just imagine, a very fancy butcher, okay, divvying up all the parts of the sacrifice, cutting away the skin and the fat, and certain organs and stuff like that, and making sure that they're all burnt up. And the bullock and his hide and his flesh and his dung he burnt with the fire without the camp, and as Yahuwah commanded Moshe. And he brought the ram for the ascending smoke offering, and Aaron and his sons laid their hands upon the head of the ram. And he killed it. And Moshe sprinkled the blood upon the altar round about. And he cut the ram into pieces, and Moshe burnt the head and the pieces in the fat. And he washed the inwards and the legs in water. And Moshe burnt the whole ram upon the altar. It was an ascending smoke sacrifice for a sweet savor, and an offering made by fire unto Yahuwah, as Yahuwah commanded Moshe. And he brought the other ram, the ram of consecration, and Aaron and his sons laid their hands upon the head of the ram, and he slew it. And Moshe took of the blood of it, and put it on the tip of Aaron's right ear, and upon the thumb of his right hand, and upon the great toe of his right foot. I always thought that part was kind of interesting. And he brought Aaron's sons, and Moshe put of the blood upon the tip of their right ear, upon the thumbs of their right hands, and upon the great toes of their right feet. And Moshe sprinkled the blood upon the altar round about. And he took the fat and the rump and all the fat that was upon the inwards, and the caul above the liver, and the 2 kidneys and their fat, and the right shoulder. And out of the basket of matzah that was before Yahuwah, he took 1 matzah cake, and a cake of oiled bread, and 1 wafer, and put them on the fat and upon the right shoulder. And he put all upon Aaron's hands and upon his son's hands, and waved them for a wave offering before Yahuwah. And Moshe took them from their hands and burnt them on the altar upon the ascending smoke offering. They were consecrations for a sweet savor. It is an offering made by fire unto Yahuwah. And Moshe took the breast and waved it. So they waved it before they put it on the altar. And waved it for a wave offering before Yahuwah. For of the ram of consecration it was Moshe's part, as Yahuwah commanded Moshe. And Moshe took of the anointing oil and of the blood which was upon the altar, and sprinkled it upon Aaron and his garments, and upon his sons and his sons' garments with him, and sanctified Aaron and his garments and his sons' garments with him. And Moshe said unto Aaron and his sons, Boil the flesh at the door of the tabernacle of the assembly, and there eat it with the bread that is in the basket of consecrations, as I commanded, saying, Aaron and his sons shall eat it. So they were to take the flesh that they were allowed to eat, boil it, and eat it with the bread that was in the basket. And that which remains of the flesh and of the bread you shall burn with the fire. In other words, if you don't eat it all, burn it all up. There will be more tomorrow. And you shall not go out of the door of the tabernacle of the assembly in 7 days, until the days of your consecration be at an end. For 7 days he shall he consecrate you. And he has done this, as he has done this day, so Yahuwah has commanded to do, to make an atonement for you. Therefore ye shall abide at the door of the tabernacle of the assembly day and night 7 days, and guard the watch of Yahuwah, that ye die not. For so I am commanded. So Aaron and his sons did all things which Yahuwah commanded by the hand of Moshe. So everything that just happened here in this chapter 8 had to do with consecrating Aaron and his sons. This was like a consecrating ceremony for Aaron and his sons to make atonement for them. Okay, so that they could serve in the tabernacle. Okay, so chapter 9. The Lord accepts Aaron's offering. Okay. Okay, so it came to pass in the 8th day. Remember, they were supposed to be in there. They had to stay in the tabernacle for 7 days. It came to pass on the 8th day that Moshe called Aaron and his sons and the elders of Yasharel. And he said unto Aaron, Take a young calf for a sin offering, and a ram for an ascending smoke offering, without blemish, and offer them before Yahuwah. And unto the children of Yasharel you shall speak, saying, Take ye a kid of the goats for a sin offering, and a calf and a lamb, both of the first year without blemish, for an ascending smoke offering. And a bullock and a ram for a peace offering, and sacrifice before Yahuwah, an oblation mingled with oil, for today Yahuwah will appear unto you. So he was asking the children of Israel to make sin offerings before Yahuwah, because he was going to appear to them. And they brought which Moshe commanded before the tabernacle of the assembly, and all the assembly drew near and stood before Yahuwah. And Moshe said, This is the thing which Yahuwah commanded that ye shall do, and the glory of Yahuwah shall appear to you. And Moshe said unto Aaron, Go unto the altar and offer your sin offering and your ascending smoke offering, and make an atonement for yourself and for the people, and offer the offering of the people and make an atonement for them, as Yahuwah commanded. And Aaron therefore went unto the altar and slew the calf of the sin offering, which was for himself. And the sons of Aaron brought the blood unto him, and he dipped his finger in the blood and put it on the horns of the altar, and poured out the blood at the bottom of the altar. But the fat and the kidneys and the caul above the liver of the sin offering he burnt upon the altar, as Yahuwah commanded Moshe. And the flesh and the hide he burnt with the fire without the camp. And he slew the ascending smoke offering, and Aaron's sons presented unto him the blood which he sprinkled round about the altar. And they presented the ascending smoke offering unto him, and the pieces thereof, and the head, and he burnt them upon the altar. And he did wash the inwards and the legs, and burnt them upon the ascending smoke offering on the altar. And he brought the people's offering, and took the goat, which was the sin offering for the people, and slew it, and offered it for sin as the first. And he brought the ascending smoke offering, and offered it according to the manner. And he brought the oblation, and took a handful thereof, and burnt it upon the altar beside the ascending smoke offering of the morning. And he slew also the bullock and the ram for a sacrifice of peace offering, which was for the people. And Aaron's sons presented unto him the blood which he sprinkled upon the altar round about. And the fat of the bullock and of the ram, the rump, and that which covers the inwards, and the kidneys and the caul above the liver, that they put the fat upon the breast, and he burnt the fat upon the altar. And the breasts and the right shoulder Aaron waved for a wave offering before Yahuwah, and Moshe, as Moshe commanded. And Aaron lifted up his hand towards the people and blessed them, and came down from offering of the sin offering and the ascending smoke offering and peace offerings. And Moshe and Aaron went into the tabernacle of the assembly, and came out and blessed the people. And the glory of Yahuwah appeared unto all the people. And there came a fire out from before Yahuwah, and consumed upon the altar the ascending smoke offering and the fat, which when all the people saw, they shouted and fell on their face. So check this out, guys. Okay, there's a fire that's burning underneath the altar, where they're burning the fat and they're burning these animals. But this was an offering that they were making in conjunction with the fact that he was saying that Yahuwah was going to appear unto all the people. And it says that a fire, okay, the glory of Yahuwah appeared unto the people, and there came a fire out from before Yahuwah. So this was not just any kind of fire. This was the fire from the presence of Yahuwah. And it consumed upon the altar the ascending smoke offering, which when all the people saw, they shouted and fell on their face, because this was a holy fire. This was not the fire that was just burning on the altar. This was a fire that came out from the glory of Yahuwah, and obviously terrified the people. All right, last chapter here in our in the book of Leviticus reading for today is chapter 10. So we're just going to finish up in chapter 10. So this is the death of Nadab and Abihu. I think most people are familiar with this part. And Nadab and Abihu, the sons of Aaron, these were the sons of Aaron, took either of them his censer, okay, and put fire therein, and put incense thereon, and offered strange fire before Yahuwah, which he commanded them not. See, some in their zeal, they did something that was not commanded. Okay? it's not as if they died because they were zealous for the Lord and um, it's you really have to wrap your head around the fact that the glory of Yahuwah encompassed the tabernacle. And it was so holy. And again, I always go back to how the frequency of Yahuwah is so far above our frequency. And when you're in the presence of Yahuwah, that sort of manifest presence that was there in the tabernacle, it can be very dangerous. I mean, you're talking about a frequency that's stronger than lightning. You know, this is this has the ability to kill you if you do anything that's out of protocol. So they, and so they're. I mean, okay, so they're probably doing this out of zeal for the Lord and out of love for the Lord. That's like you just falling in love with, let's say, the king that's in Jerusalem, and you want to run up and just, go give him a hug. But, you can't approach a king without permission. Otherwise you die. So this is what happened to Aaron's sons, two of his sons. So they took their censer and put fire thereon and put incense thereon. And they offered strange fire before Yahuwah, which he commanded not. And there went out fire from Yahuwah and devoured them, and they died before Yahuwah. It's very sad and very tragic. This was like the story of I can't remember his name, but you remember when the Ark of the Covenant, they were carrying it, and the Ark of the Covenant started to fall over, and he grabbed, but just ran up to keep it from falling and died. Because you can't touch something that's so electric, and you can't do something out of order when you're dealing with that kind of power. There's a reason why Yahuwah was giving them very, very, very specific instructions. It was so he could manifest his presence to them. Otherwise, we're not naturally abiding with Yahuwah at this time because of the fall. That's why he sits above the firmament. We are below the firmament. And this whole story is about restoring us back to God. But in that process, Yahuwah is just trying to create a sanctuary where he can dwell amongst the people, but it has to be very, very, very specific, because you're talking about a very powerful manifest presence of Yahuwah dwelling in the tabernacle. You just can't play around with it. So the fire breaks out and devours them, and they die. Then Moshe said unto Aaron, This is it that Yahuwah spoke, saying, I will be sanctified in them, and come nigh me, that come nigh to me. And before all the people I will be glorified. And Aaron held his peace. I can't believe Aaron held his peace. He just you see what he says here. He says, I will be sanctified in those that come near to me. Before all the people I will be glorified. This is what Yahuwah says. There is an absolute protocol when you're dealing with the presence of God, in the presence of a human being whose flesh does not belong in the presence of Yahuwah, unless you're literally following his protocol. And Moshe called Mishael and Elistaphan, the sons of Uziel, the uncle of Aaron, and said unto them, Come near, carry your brethren from before the sanctuary out of the camp. So they went near and carried them in their coats out of the camp, and as Moshe had said. And Moshe said unto Aaron, and unto Eleazar, and unto Ithamar, His sons, uncover not your head, neither rend your clothes, lest ye die, and lest wrath come upon all the people. But let your brethren, the whole house of Yasharel, bewail the burning which Yahuwah has kindled. So basically he's saying, don't render your clothes, don't uncover your heads unless you die. This is very serious business, being in the presence of God. I mean, it's a serious matter because you're literally dealing with an energy that does not belong, or that doesn't mingle with our flesh. Remember what Yahuwah said during the time of the flood? He said, "For my spirit will not dwell with man any longer." Remember before he flooded the earth? It couldn't, because we had come down so far as a people, and that's why he had to flood the entire earth. And then the atmosphere changed, and we don't even grow as tall as we used to, and things don't grow as taller as they used to. Everything's just not as glorious as it was prior to the flood. And so there's a way that it has to be done, and you got to follow it. And you shall not go out from the door of the tabernacle of the assembly, lest you die. For the anointing oil of Yahuwah is upon you. And they did according to the word of Moshe. So did you hear what he just said? He said, the anointing oil of Yahuwah is upon you. Okay? You've just been in the presence of Yahuwah. Okay, so you cannot go out from the door of the tabernacle, or you'll die. Yahuwah spoke unto Aaron, saying, do not drink wine or strong drink, you or your sons with you, when you go into the tabernacle of the assembly, lest you die. It shall be a statute forever throughout your generations. So basically, when you go into the tabernacle, you're not to be intoxicated at all. Okay? Not at all. And ye shall, that ye may put difference between holy and unholy, between clean and unclean, and that you may teach the children of Yasharel all the statutes which Yahuwah has spoken unto them by the hand of Moshe. And Moshe spoke unto Aaron, and unto Eleazar, and unto Ithamar, his sons that were left, take the oblation that remains of the offerings of Yahuwah made by fire, and eat it without leaven beside the altar, for it is most holy. And ye shall eat it in the holy place, because it is your due, and your sons' due of the sacrifices of Yahuwah made by fire, for so I am commanded. And the wave breast and the heave shoulder shall ye eat in a clean place, you and your sons and your daughters with you, for they be your due, and your sons' due, which are given out of the sacrifices of peace offerings of the children of Yasharel. So all of this happens, and he's like, this is what you do, this is what you don't do. Here, go ahead and eat your portion. The heave shoulder of the wave breast shall they bring with the offerings made by fire of the fat, to wave it for a wave offering before Yahuwah, and it shall be yours and your sons with you by a statute forever, as Yahuwah commanded. And Moshe diligently sought the goat of the sin offering, and behold, it was burnt. And he was angry with Eleazar and Ithamar, the sons of Aaron, which were left alive, saying, wherefore have ye eaten the sin offering in the holy place, seeing it is most holy, and Elohim has given it to you to bear the iniquity of the assembly, to make atonement for them before Yahuwah? Behold, the blood of it was not brought in within the holy place. Ye should indeed have eaten it in the holy place, as I commanded. And Aaron said unto Moshe, behold, this day have they offered their sin offering and their ascending smoke offering before Yahuwah, and such things have befallen me. And if I have eaten the sin offering today, should it have been accepted in the sight of Yahuwah? And when Moshe heard that, he was content. So I remember reading this and thinking, Aaron is grieving internally for the sons that he just lost. And Moses comes along and says he was looking for the goat of the sin offering, and it was burnt. And he was angry with Eleazar and Ithamar, the sons of Aaron, which were left alive, saying, "Why have you not eaten the sin offering in the holy place, seeing that it's most holy? And Elohim has given it to you to bear the iniquity of the assembly, to make atonement for them before Yahuwah. Behold, the blood of it was not brought in within the holy place. You should indeed have eaten it in the holy place." So they weren't eating in the holy place. And this is what Aaron says to Moses. He says, "Behold, this day have they offered the sin offering and the ascending smoke offering before Yahuwah. And such things have befallen me." In other words, listen, I just lost my sons when they were making offerings before the Lord. And if I have not even eaten the sin offering today, should it have been accepted in the sight of Yahuwah? Oh, they didn't eat it. So they didn't eat it at all. He's like, look, okay, so basically, let's slow down here. They're commanded to eat the goat of the sin offering, but it was all burnt up. And Moses comes along and he says, "Why haven't you eaten it? Elohim, Yahuwah, he told you you're to eat it in the holy place." He says, "Look, my sons have made their sin offerings and their peace offerings, and he says here, I'm sorry, not peace offerings. My sons, they've offered their sin offerings and their ascending smoke offerings before Yahuwah. But I lost my sons. I lost 2 of my sons. And if I haven't eaten the sin offering today, should it have been accepted in the sight of Yahuwah? In other words, if I don't feel like eating right now, excuse me. You know, they made their offerings that Yahuwah is commanding us, and then this has happened to me today. Basically, I lost my 2 sons. Excuse me if I don't feel like eating. Shouldn't it be acceptable to Yahuwah that I don't feel like eating right now?" And Moses heard this and was content. He was basically understanding of his answer. I think that was a pretty good answer. I don't think that you have to eat it. Moses thought that they, should be eating it because God commanded them to eat it. But look, they just lost their brothers. Aaron just lost his 2 sons. You lose your appetite. I mean, they died right in front of them. You just don't feel like eating. He's like, "Excuse me if I don't feel like eating right now." And Moses is like, "I get it. I totally understand." So it was a very serious protocol that you had to follow to enter into the presence of Yahuwah and minister in the tabernacle of the assembly. And it was very unfortunate. I'm almost positive that his 2 sons were offering strange fire, out of zeal for the Lord. But it didn't negate the fact that it was out of what was commanded. It was out of protocol. Whew, boy. Do we have it easy today trying to enter into the presence of the Lord? But on the other hand, they did get to experience a real, tangible, manifest presence of the Lord, that we hopefully get to experience in our lives, but probably on a different level, I'm sure. Yeah. Yeah, it was a very serious matter, following everything to a T. Otherwise you would die. You would die in the presence of the Lord. Okay, guys, that's our reading of Leviticus today. I hope you got something out of that and enjoyed it. We're going to be finishing up next week also. Stay tuned. In a few minutes, maybe 15-20 minutes after this, I'm going to jump into the book of Jasher reading, and we're going to finish up in the book of Jasher. Today we're in chapters 31 through 35. 31 through 35 in Jasher today. So, and if you didn't hear me in the beginning of this video, remember I have created an event on the Keys to the Kingdom page. This is for August 7th and 8th. Okay? In Dunedin, Florida. A ladies' fellowship weekend. Ladies' fellowship weekend. August 7th and 8th. I know most of you do not live in Florida. I know it's going to be a lot hard for some of you if you wanted to make it down here. Even if your schedule would even allow it, I'm just leaving it in God's hands. We might have 2 people. We might have 10 people. Right now we have... okay. Sorry, I just had something happen there. We might have 2 people. We might have 10 people. Right now we have 29 people who are interested in the Ladies' Fellowship here in Florida. It's just a chance for us to come together and fellowship the ladies and, you know, just hang together in the Lord and visit with each other, get to know each other. And if you can make it, great. If not, you know, there's always in the future, we might have other events elsewhere. Maybe we'll take a trip to Noah's Ark in Kentucky. I have been there once. I actually got engaged at Noah's Ark. So, who knows? God's willing. Leave it in God's hands. All right, guys. God bless you. Hope to see you next week. And I'll see you in a few.